Erica, we are the Alumni Relations Managers here at Rotterdam School of Management, and today's session marks the beginning of RSM's Alumni Career Days, which provides career support to our alumni community with a range of online and in-person discussions, masterclasses, career advice, networking sessions, all the good stuff. There are still some tickets available to our upcoming sessions, so I'll share a little bit more info about that afterwards, so stay tuned. Before we get started, I need to inform you that this session will be recorded and all the recordings and resources from all of our sessions will be shared after the event. So I think without any further delay, I'd like to introduce our expert presenter today. He is an RSM alumnus from 2016. He has trained thousands of people in online public speaking already, so welcome to the club. And he is joining us for his second year at Alumni Career Days this year. Jelmer Smits, it's over to you.
Thank you very much, Alice. Very happy to be here. We're going to talk about something that some of you will find very difficult. That is still, after the pandemic, quite present in your lives. And I'm going to teach you a few things that you probably never heard of before that are going to make your working life a lot easier. Most first impressions nowadays are online, especially professionally. Let me know in the chat, what are some examples of first impressions, not oppression, can feel like an oppression, some online meetings. First impressions that we are having online. Let me know in the chat, please. And you can be a bit creative, right? Because there's the obvious job interview. But what are other forms that we are having first impressions online? Exactly. Dating apps, profile pictures, that's a really good one. Exactly, Bart. A lot of customers nowadays, especially if you work internationally, first impression online. Yeah, the breakout rooms, speaking to leaders, interviews, all of them. We're going to speak about that today. Okay, we're going to speak about how can you make a better first impression? How can you improve your public speaking skills so stuff actually gets done? And more importantly, how can you make sure that your online presentations and meeting become more engaging? Because let's be honest, they are often not that engaging. Let me show the agenda before I'll show you a little bit about who I am. On the screen, you will see the agenda. My goal for today is to give you as much as possible while at the same time adhering to the mantra that less is more, because you can only take away a few things. But I really want to serve you guys. I really want to give you as much as possible. So we're going to go high speed into some things. We're going to practice. What I really want you to know is that what we're going to focus on are these main things: charisma and how to make it engaging. And at the end, we will look at the takeaways, but I will also give you a handout that you can use, a cheat sheet for the rest of your meetings. Let me know in the chat, please, from what I've said so far, what is something you would like to learn today? I cannot give it all to you, right? Because of time limits, but I'm going to try my best. So let me know, what is something about online presentations and meetings that you would like to learn today? Let us know in the chat, please. While you're typing, I'm going to show a little video that's going to show you who I am, where I come from, and why I'm here. Let me know if you cannot hear the video.
99% of people have misconceptions about public speaking, or they're simply traumatized. Imagine you're sitting here with me right now, and we heard that we have to give a speech to 100 people we don't know in 5 minutes. We have 5 minutes to prepare. How do you feel? Exactly. This is called a stress response, which is a very normal thing to experience, but if you don't know how to handle it, it's going to lead you to endless losses. The most common misconception about public speaking is that it's a static skill that you are born with. That it's a talent you either have or you don't. That's how it's taught in school. It's just something we're forced to do, not something we can learn or we can even enjoy. But this is not just talent. I am the living proof. I had a turbulent youth. My divorced parents moved around all the time, and in my youth I've lived in 11 houses, 4 different primary schools, 2 different high schools. Because of this, I was forced to overcome my shyness and anxiety, so I could make new friends all the time, so I would not feel excluded. At the same time, I saw a common pattern with all the other kids. They were struggling with what I had to face in my early life, but in a very specific scenario: presentations. Kids were just thrown in front of the class without any good support techniques or safe exposure. Of course, they would feel that fear of judgment, that anxiety and stress. I've spent most of my adulthood studying this obsessively, doing theater, improvisation, taking courses. And guess what? There are rules and guidelines for things like body language, structuring, improvisation, vocal strengths, things that they don't teach you in school. You just need to learn what works and practice it, and things will get so much easier.
That's me. Let me tell you, even after many times, it's still awkward to see and hear yourself in a video. That's not going away. But I'm still proud of the video. All right, camera's on. If you want to participate, that would be great, because some of the questions in the chat are also, how can you actually know if your message was well received? Well, we need input. We need to see each other. So help me out here. But I know some of you are in the office, right? Or you're in different places where you cannot use the camera. Let's talk about a first impression. What is charisma? Who can help me understand? What is charisma? Maybe put some thoughts in the chat again. How can you make a good first impression? By looking at charisma. Again, for those of you who just joined, what is charisma? I see some very good points. Maybe some of you have seen Vanessa van Edwards. See some people nodding. Vanessa van Edwards, she's an influencer. She talks a lot about public speaking, more specifically charisma. And she breaks it down into 2 important parts that I want you to know about, especially when it comes to online presentations. Basically, she says charisma is the combination of competence and warmth. I'll put it in the chat for you guys. Competence and warmth. And if you can do both of those, you are going to be magnetic, like Bruno says. Not to everyone. That's almost impossible, right? It's really hard to get everyone to like you. Some of you might not like me so far, unfortunately. And at the same time, that's okay, right? But what you can learn, what all of you can also learn, is what are things you can do to just come across as a nicer, capable human being? Because let's be honest, first impressions do matter. Now I want you to think for yourself. if you have an online job interview or you're meeting a new client, do you lean more to the competent side, or do you lean personally more to the warm side? What is competence? Competence is your credibility. Are you capable of doing your job? Do you know what you're talking about, etc.? Warmth is, are you a nice person? Are you connecting to me? Do you make me feel safe? Do you understand me? Thank you, Kathy. Exactly. Vanessa van Edwards. Ideally, you have a combination of both. And we often see that people lean too much to one side of them. Very stereotypically speaking here, I'm generalizing, what we see is that most men tend to lean towards competence and females towards warmth. Again, I'm very much generalizing here. There's always exceptions. And I know I'm being very blatant here. I just want you to know that this is a thing that if you want to help yourself get better at this, making a better first impression, get to the middle of it. That's often the thing. Now, we're going to look at how can we do this in an online meeting. And I'm saying this on purpose, guys, because I want to trigger a bit of a response inside of you. I'll tell you more about that later. Let's look at competence first. Online, how can you come across as competent from the start? I'm going to make a breakout room. And in that breakout room, you're going to discuss with people how you can do that in certain elements. Because there are some elements of an online presentation, an online meeting that you haven't thought about that actually negatively or positively affect your competence, the way you come across. I'm going to open up 4 breakout rooms. Most people there will be traveling or taking care of a cat or a baby, and they cannot speak. Let's focus on the people who can actually speak and contribute. The others can just listen. Let me tell you, the more you talk, the more you're going to take away from this. Okay, please turn on your camera, have a little discussion. What you can do now is turn off your camera, and within 30 seconds, you're going to find yourself in the breakout room. And I will put in the chat what your exercise is, what I need you to work on. Take a few deep breaths. In the chat, you will see what I want you to work on. You can see the room number in the breakout room. We're going to do 5 minutes. Quickly discuss, let's do 6. Quickly discuss how these elements, and you can also take elements from other places, not just the camera or the light and the microphone or the virtual background, but how do they influence your competence? And what can you do to improve it? Any questions before we jump to the breakout room? No? When you come back out of the breakout room, I'm going to ask some of you to share it in the chat or speak up so we can all learn from what you discussed. Again, main question is, how can these elements influence your competence? Okay, Bruno, some people will still join, even though we've already started.
Yep. Oh,
If you could place them in the breakout room, I'm just going to visit some breakout rooms. Just put them
sounds
to
good.
a random breakout room. Yeah?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, Justine. Oh, but did she?
I think she left the meeting. No. You see, the person in the breakout rooms can see how many are assigned to each, and then it should add up to 30 with the 2 of us here.
Yeah. One. Bless you. And so I do it. I was like, how do I do this? It's fine.
Oh, I was so bad, like when I clicked on like the picture to see that,
Yeah.
and then I also had like the Spotify here.
Yeah.
I couldn't see the stop sharing. So
Oh.
I was like, three times, and I was like, oh no, they're gonna see like
Yeah,
they're gonna
that's
see my
fine.
like technical thing because I'm in the background.
It's fine.
So I need to figure out how that works for the next week's
It's okay.
one.
Hi, Mario. Did you just join the meeting? So we're doing an exercise right now, and I'll just add you to one of our breakout rooms if that's okay. So I'll add you to room 3, and then you can join the rest of the participants in the exercise they're doing. There you go. Done. Hi everyone, welcome back.
Hi, Bruno.
Hi Vishal. How are you?
I'm good. Nice to see you again. You have a nice background picture,
Thank you. Yeah, it's part of the branding for Alumni Career Days.
huh? Right, right, right.
Did you enjoy the last events, the Power of Voice on Wednesday?
Oh, yeah, that was very nice. The
Nice.
Power of Voice was good event.
Yeah.
Many people went with a different expectation because the description of the event was different.
Uh-huh.
Because the event was about public speaking. That is
Yeah.
what I learned. But the
Yeah.
description said that it is more about voice.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
voice
Yeah.
is a completely different subject than public speaking.
Fair. Yeah.
It is
I
an
guess
important part, but voice is in itself is a very complex subject.
indeed. Yeah. But I guess it was in the framework of using voice to convey a certain message and the
Yeah,
pause in between. And yeah, yeah. But
yeah,
that's good feedback in that way.
yeah.
Great. Think the rest is also joining us soon.
Right, right.
The power of breakout rooms. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. Let me know in the chat, please. What are some of the key takeaways that others could learn from that you now just discussed? Some of them might actually surprise others. Okay, some of you are still typing. These are some good points already in the chat, Vishal. Love it. Who of you is using an external camera right now, a high resolution camera? Show of hands. Monica, you do? Love it. Euphrasia, very good. Everyone, let me show you the difference, okay? Why this matters. Because I can tell you, but I can also show you. If I spotlight myself, I'm using an external camera. At the end of this session, we are going to share a cheat sheet with you, a list where we just recommend all kinds of materials that you can use for your tech setup. I have no affiliations with any of the brands. So unfortunately, if you know anyone who's working there, they can sponsor me for sharing this. But just to make it as easy as possible for you. So I'm using an external camera. This is what it looks like with the camera in my laptop. You guys see the difference in quality? And I've got a very decent laptop. The thing is, the camera and the microphone in your laptop, any laptop, MacBooks, HP, whatever, all of them have very low quality cameras and microphones because no one buys them for their camera or microphone. No one selects that. So what do the manufacturers do? They put in the least, the most accessible quality. Same goes for the microphone. Let me show you, let me make you experience what it sounds like to use the microphone in my laptop. That's actually going to sound like this. Do you guys hear a difference in quality or not? Yeah, a bit. Because when I go back to my external microphone, you will feel the difference, no? Anna, Kathy, difference? Yep. These things are quite cheap. Okay, of course, I've got a more professional setup because this is my work. But you will find 20 euros, you've got a decent camera. 20 euros, you've got a very decent microphone. And it makes a difference if you have a lot of online meetings. Now, question to all of you. Why would you want to have a good camera and a good microphone when it comes to your competence or warmth? Why would you do that? The answer is the more people can see you, the better people can see you, and the better they can hear you, the more they like you. This is a general rule of communication. Why do you think on television, you can always, if there's an interview, the people are presented so you can see them as well as possible. You can hear them as well as possible. If you have a job interview, if you give an online presentation, make sure people can see you and hear you as well as possible, because they're going to see you as more competent and as a warmer person. Now let's look at the background. I was in the breakout room with Euphrasia. And who else was there? Julia was there. I can't see all of you because I'm spotlighted. Let me remove my spotlight so I can see you. Julia, what do you remember from the breakout room? Oh, sorry, you're eating. wrong timing. Love it. Euphrasia, what about you? What do you remember from that breakout room that is important for everyone to know when it comes to virtual backgrounds?
Yeah, I also shared it in the chat. I tend to use the virtual background, something that I feel comfortable with. But you shared that research shows that actually it is better to show your actual background instead of a virtual or a blurred background, because that can help to build trust with that person whom you're meeting, especially if you're meeting that person or the team for the first time. And of course, there are exceptions if there's chaos going in behind the scene at home, and maybe it would still be best to at least mention why the virtual background is being used.
Yes. So, love it. Very well said. To summarize, research shows the worst thing you can do is have a very chaotic real background. I've seen crazy things, people. I've been doing this for a few years now, quite a few years. I've trained many people. I've seen CEOs with the most ridiculous things. Okay? You want some examples? Yeah, no, you want them, huh? Well, of course, you've got the closets with all the clothes out, but I've seen naked pictures as well on the wall, like nude painting. I've seen a sex toy. Yeah, talking about competence. Imagine meeting your clients for the first time like that. Now, I don't see many boomers here, with all due respect. So most of you will be more aware of the online world, but we see this a lot more with older people. And again, I'm generalizing here, but sometimes it does help to tell your parents or your grandparents, like, hey, Dad, when you present yourself online, maybe not present from this angle. Talking about camera angles, Vishal was very right in that. What we try to do is put the camera angle at eyesight, and I see many of you already have this, and it makes me very proud. Why would we do that? Because it signals equal communication, right? You know, the typical person, if I call my father, he answers the phone and I can see all of his underchins, right? And for me, it doesn't matter because it's my dad. But I know he answers the phone like that in a video call with a client. And I'm like, what are you doing? This is the first time they see you. And you're showing that side of you. And it matters, right? We can act like these first impressions don't matter, but they do. That is a tech setup. Now let's talk about body language and the way we speak. I saw some amazing questions and comments with that regard as well. Out of all the things that I can teach you about body language, what do you guys think is the most important one for online presentations and meetings? What do you guys think is the most important thing when it comes to body language? I love it. I would like to challenge a volunteer. It's not a big challenge. I just need a volunteer. Otherwise, I'm going to randomly pick a person. Who wants to volunteer? Vishal? This is going to be a challenging one with the light you have. Let's see if we can make it work. Because as you can see right now, Vishal, thank you for volunteering, I will spotlight Vishal. And what everyone will see is that it's quite hard to read his face, right? To see his face because there's not a lot of light. Do you have a light in front of you or a light source, Vishal?
Yeah, I can put it on.
Yes, please. Do that in the meantime. And we're going to show the difference. Now, Martijn, just to fill it up, thank you for volunteering, Martijn. No, I'm joking. I know Martijn, so we can get away with this. Martijn, please come a little bit closer to the camera and look into the camera for us.
Yeah, is that okay?
This is perfect, Vishal. Thank you, Martijn. Martijn, let me tell you what I saw happen with all the other people. All of them. I saw everyone's eyes dilute a bit. Some of the heads went to the side and people started smiling. Do it again, Martijn. This is what we call connection signals, which are very hard to mimic online, especially if you don't know how to do it. So for you guys, it's going to be so much easier to stand out from all the other people by occasionally looking into the camera. This stuff just works. But a disclaimer, it is incredibly difficult and awkward to do for yourself. Right, Alice? Alice, look into the camera, please. Right? You guys, you feel it when she's looking into the camera, like, wow, what a nice person. She's connecting to me. But for Alice, as the person themselves looking into the camera, it feels so unnatural. You're staring into this black hole. This is so weird. This is why most people prefer, a big part of why people prefer real life meetings. Because people feel like they can connect more, which is true. But here's the thing. Online meetings are here to stay. Right? And that's why most of you are here as well. Because yes, I talk to CEOs and they say, oh yeah, but I prefer real life meetings. Like, yeah, I also prefer first class flying, you know, but I cannot always, like, it's just more efficient sometimes to have an online meeting, and they know it. That's why most job interviews nowadays are online. So what can you do? Look into the camera. So everyone, I'm going to count down from 3, and then I want you to look into the camera for 5 seconds and experience how difficult it is for yourself. So 3, 2, 1, everyone, please look into the camera. Amazing. How did that feel? Ooh.
It feels like staring at a black hole.
Yes. Yes. But please acknowledge that it works when someone else does it. Kathy, what you're doing now, I love it. If Kathy would explain something to us, we would be listening. If Bart would share something, maybe personal, and I look into the camera while I'm listening and I'm nodding, Bart feels like I'm actually listening, right? Because how often does it happen in online meetings? You're talking and the people are just like no expression, and they're looking somewhere else. You're like, So also to give other people the feeling, hey, I'm listening to you. Do this in a job interview and you're so much more likely to get the job because people feel like, hey, I'm connecting to this person. Oh, I can see this person there. There's something going on here. Bruno, you have a question.
Yes, I did. I think somewhat you answered it already, but the problem that I have with that is that if I'm looking at the camera, I'm not looking at the screen, right? So I'm not looking at the person. So yeah, I also want to look at the other person and connect with them. So how do you mitigate the two? Is it then when you're speaking, you look at the camera, but when the other person is speaking, you look at the screen?
Beautiful question. What I do is I put my external camera as close to the screen with the people, okay? Guys, if you work from home, get a second screen and an external camera. Just put it in front of or put the camera like it's here. But if I look at Kefi, it's here. If I look at Bruno, it's here. So the distance is not that big. So you want to make the distance small between the camera and the people. And look, you're not a statue. It would be creepy if I would be speaking like this all the time, right? That would be like at one point, you're also going to be like, yo. So good question, Bruno. Just like in a normal conversation, we look away when we're thinking, when we see something, and then we go back to eye contact. So try to alternate. We're going to practice this. I want you to practice looking into the camera while you're speaking. And I want you to practice one more thing. And this is going to be difficult, and it's completely fine, because that's how we learn. What is the most engaging thing you can do in any conversation, in any presentation? What is the most engaging thing you can do? What am I doing right now? Exactly. I'm asking a question. Good public speakers ask questions. Below average public speakers, they don't ask questions. And when you do this online, when there's never a question, you've all been there, right? The 30 minutes, 1 hour, you're just like, they're just sending. Here's the thing. You do not need to openly ask questions. You can also ask rhetorical questions. You can build setups. Make people wonder where you're going with this. Make them think about it. You always want to trigger a response. Remember when I came with this very generalizing statement? I did that on purpose as well because it triggers something in you. You want to respond to that. Now, some of you will like Netflix or HBO or whatever. Most of us can look at those shows for hours, even though they're sending towards it. But what do the good directors do? They always make us think, right? What is going to happen next? Why did this person do this? That's what you want to trigger in your audience. And the best way to do it is ask questions. So you're going to practice this in some improv. Who of you has done improv class before? Show of hands. Who has ever done improvisation classes? No one. Let me tell you, it's going to make life easier. And I say that as a Dutchie, right? We're not that flexible in general. Not a generalization, but improv classes, 100% worth it. Look into the chat. You see 7 options for something that you're going to improvise. I'm going to put you in a breakout room with someone else, with 2 other people, and you're going to take turns. And you're going to present for 30 seconds at least, 30 seconds to 1 minute, one of these. And the other one is going to pick. So say I'm in a breakout room with Bart and Julia. We'd go by alphabet. So Bart goes first, and then Julia, and I'm last. So I will say, Bart, the last one. Oh, it's missing a stripe. But how do you pitch a new productivity app that does absolutely nothing? And then Bart has to improvise a bullshit story for 30 seconds. But the point here is look into the camera and ask some questions, okay? And see what happens. Now, I want you guys to coach each other a bit. Help each other learn. Have fun with it. Copy the statements from the chat because you might lose them if you're in the breakout room. Any questions?
How much time do we get in the breakout rooms?
6 minutes again. So 30 seconds per person. Do a second round if everyone has gone. Yeah. And really, really do each other a favor, help each other learn. So if I'm with Anna, I would say, Anna, look into the camera. Try it. Yeah. If Razia, ask a question. Try it out. It's going to work. Feel what happens. Okay. Enjoy. "15 minutes left. Time is flying."
Yes, indeed. Are you happy with it? It's going well now.
Yeah, it's going well. It's going well. Nice participation. I see people are quite in there.
Yeah,
1 hour is so short, but
I know. Yeah, but we want to keep it a bit succinct as well because we also know that people have to get back to work and stuff. So yeah, but I think this is just a thought-provoking. I think that's exactly what's happening, and then we can share more resources afterwards as well. Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, that's a goal. Thought-provoking,
Yeah,
inspire them. Hopefully they
exactly.
take away
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Okay. I will visit a few breakout rooms. That's always fun.
Perfect. See you in a bit.
You should go too. Check out a few. It's so much
Yeah.
fun. Improv is good fun.
Hmm?
How about we do this?
Nice.
Then it looks a little bit less weird when I
Yeah.
the comments.
Fair enough.
No, it should be set for this login.
Nice. Perfect.
Group chat is spamming me. I feel like I don't know if they're just simply incompetent.
Why? What are they saying?
It's like for the interviews, like the one that doesn't respond. So then I was like, okay, but how about in the meantime, we just finish up the data cleaning, that we can sell them the full Excel sheet
Yeah,
to
yeah.
all potential clients, because we're building a sales funnel. So then like list how to address them, what to do, whatever.
Yeah.
And then we were like, how do I, why are the rows not consistent? I was like, yeah, because some people didn't have their LinkedIn, that means that they're not. That means we cannot contact them the way we're supposed to, so then I
Yeah.
filtered those out and put them at the bottom.
Right. Yeah.
And then I filtered out some things that were incomplete, or some people that didn't, or like some companies that didn't have, like, I mean, we're working with a marketing agency. If they don't have Google Analytics or any form of a
Yeah.
content management system, why would we contact them?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, no, then we cannot contact them. And they're like, why did you remove it? I was like, well, we have the raw copy anyway, so it's better that we keep that, we send that too. But filter as much as you can.
Yeah.
please.
Indeed.
Ugh.
It's like they're asking all the frustrating questions.
I feel like they've just not listened at all.
No.
When I was sitting last week on my own vacation that I wasn't supposed to be working on,
Yeah. Working on it.
cleaning a data sheet
Yeah.
with 4,000 entries
It's really annoying.
for them to not even
Take a look
Take a
or
look
understand.
at it.
Yeah. Understand
read,
what's
because
happening.
I fixed it exactly what I did and why. And
Yeah.
I put it in the document that we're sharing with our supervisor so we can justify it in the end.
Yeah. 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 No.
No.
Ah.
It's like speaking to children.
Yeah. I get it. That is annoying.
But I'm the second youngest one in my group.
Yeah. So you're like, I should be the kid, the child.
And the child.
Yeah. Exactly. Let me behave like one. Well, no.
I don't know, but at least I got to extend my apartment.
Yeah.
That's
That is
good.
good. Well.
Because he's been so up in the air about it. He's like, yeah, maybe we can push it a little bit. I was like, okay, but can you let me know?
Yeah.
I don't want to have false hopes. Like, if you don't think it's possible now,
Yeah.
just say so, then I'll start looking. And if it
Exactly.
turns out I don't have to move.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Chances are I'd still stay because it takes 4 or 5 months on average to find housing in Australia.
Yeah. 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 Indeed.
But now I have it for the year.
That's good. No, that's good. Happy.
Happy.
Yeah. Can stay for a bit longer. Let's see how it goes with the commute, and then afterwards you can also consider then.
But also, like, I'm only commuting until October.
Hmm.
Then maybe I'll find a job here in Rotterdam.
Exactly.
Maybe I'll be in Utrecht.
Yeah.
That's already
Yeah,
a
good
lot
connection. Yeah, indeed. No, nice. It's a good plan. Good.
easier. And my parents might move a little bit closer too.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad's assignment is up.
Oh, okay. Were they like, would they move to the Netherlands or?
I'm not sure if it. I mean, there's a production thing here, and he works in production, so he would either have to go to Poland, Germany,
Okay.
the Netherlands, or France.
Okay.
If he stays within Europe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm hoping for here,
Maybe. Yeah.
but we haven't heard anything from that department yet.
Fair enough. Okay.
And Poland was really boring, so he turned that one down.
Yeah. Fair enough. Too far east.
No, but it was also like the same thing that he's done now for
Oh,
2
okay.
years, so then there's no point.
No, I get that as well. Now, let's be nice. France would be nice.
He got a really cool job in China, but then he asked and he couldn't bring the dog,
Yeah.
so then he turned it down.
Yeah. Really.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. It's a good reason. Okay, they're coming back. So
We did 2 more minutes. Apparently.
10 more minutes. Okay, almost there.
Okay, welcome back. Welcome back. For time's sake, sorry, we have to move on. I can see a lot of people smiling. Power of the breakout room and the power of improv. Improvisation is difficult and such a useful skill. How do we learn this? Practicing. Did you guys notice the competence and the warmth? Often what we see in improv, a lot of people lean too much to warmth. So they're smiling like, I don't know, penguins on spaghetti on Mars. Ooh. It's a good way of training competence, right? How can you show competence if you do not know the answer?
If you do not know the answer, at least you can talk about it, like what are your feelings about it, or whatever little you know about it.
Yeah, good. Anyone, please challenge me with something in the chat. Give me a ridiculous, like one of these 7. Fire them at me, please. So come up with one of these 7.
Company expense with Llama and the jetpack.
No, like a new one, a random one. Because then I'm fully not prepared because I know these, right?
Okay, all right. Okay, let me type something.
Okay, we got one. Sell sand in the desert. Who of you, by show of hands, who of you has ever been to the desert? To a desert? Oh, quite a few. You would think sand is plentiful in the desert. Now, how would you be able to sell sand in the desert? Have some of you bought water in the recent days? We pay for water. There's enough water on this earth. So if you think about it, there could be a way to sell sand in the desert because it will be needed for buildings and other forms. Now, there are some engineers here. There's some marketeers. So the reason why we're here for me is to find out how can we get group knowledge, group wisdom, bind that together and make a business plan out of this. Because I do not have the answers, but I got the questions. And my gut says there's something here. Of course, I'm bullshitting. Yeah, this is improv. But the thing is, competence and warmth are not necessarily about what you say, it's about how you say it. If it would be purely about what you say, we wouldn't have some of the politicians in the world at the positions that they are, right? If it were purely for what they say. No, it's about how you say it. Now, please use it for good, but I want you to know you can work on how you say things. What are the main key takeaways from the breakout room? I hope some of you looked into the camera and that the others felt how powerful that is. I visited some breakout rooms and I saw that people asked questions. And I hope you did that because you feel how powerful. That's engaging. You guys know what a rhetorical question is, right? Yeah, see, I'm using one right now. It engages you. Some of you start nodding. I'm pulling you in there. Yeah? Charisma, engagement. Focus on these two things for your online meetings, and you're going to pull yourself from a level so much above the average person. Because that is the advantage you're going to have from now on. 99.9% of people have never even thought about how to do an online meeting. They're just doing it, right? Autopilot. Ever since the pandemic, survival mode. Okay, let's just do it. And the way they do it is quite ridiculous. So now you're going to stand out quite easily. We're going to share with you a takeaway, a sheet. Is it already sent, Alice? Can we put it here?
I believe it's being added to the follow-up mail, so everyone will get it by email.
Great. I want everyone, please put in the chat, what is your key takeaway from today? A good question, Beata, before I start promoting my own courses. Everyone, let me know in the chat, what is your main takeaway from today? All right, have a look at each other's answers. You can give away 2 thumbs up. It's not a competition between people, just to compare the ideas to see what resonates. Okay, help me understand what really resonates with you. So give 2 thumbs up to things that you liked, that the people answered. I'm gonna stay around. Okay, I'm gonna finalize this. I'm gonna give you a few more things in these last few minutes. I'm gonna stay around for those who want to ask more questions. Okay, because I just love giving away everything I know. Yeah, so if you can stick around and want to, you're very welcome. In 2 minutes, we'll be finished. If you have to leave, of course, some of you have work and other things. Here's what I need you to know. All of the things that you've learned today are just the tip of the iceberg. Truly learning these things comes in practicing. Whether you do that with me or with others, practicing is where the real behavior change comes. If you want to practice this for free, go join a public speaking club, like Toastmasters. Can someone put that in the chat, please? Toastmasters. That's good stuff. If you want to get trained by a professional, just reach out to me. I'll show my contact details later. If you feel like, hey, my company could use this, my organization, my team, definitely send me a message, because we will make sure that there will be crazy changes in the way you present and that your colleagues present. I want to thank you all for being here with me and your energy. This is where you can find me and the team. We actually launched today. Okay, so I just merged. I've been doing this business already for 6 years, but today we made it, put it out into the world, complete presenter, merging with Jacob. Very exciting. Okay, so reach out to me, to us, if you want this. Stick around if you have any more questions. Thank you for being here with us. I'll put my contact details in the chat. And I wish you a very nice day. Eline, Mario, Han, Vishal, awesome. Good to have you here. Efrazia, Bart, Martijn, Monica, Alice, of course, Alejandra, Anna, Julia, all still here. You're very welcome for this. Connect to me on LinkedIn in any case. And definitely send me a message if you want to work together.
And if I can just jump in before everyone leaves, because I want to say a huge thank you. I don't know about everyone else. I'm sure I speak on behalf of most of us. This has been very, very valuable and really engaging, and I really appreciated that, and I'm sure the others have as well. So Jelmer, thank you very much for sharing your expertise with us today. If anyone else is feeling inspired by Jelmer, we are always looking for volunteers. If perhaps you are not comfortable being a speaker, but perhaps maybe you're really good at bringing communities together or you'd like to be a mentor, we've got lots of different ways you can volunteer with us. So if you'd like to get more involved in the alumni community, please do reach out to us, because the community is only as strong as what we make it. Yes, just a final plug for our upcoming events. This is the first session, like I said. We have 3 more online sessions, and I think probably Bruno in the follow-up email will put some more information about the upcoming session. So if you need the links for those, then we will make sure that you get them. Thank you all very much for joining us, Jelmer. Thank you.
Thank you for organizing this. Right, the credit goes to you guys. I forgot to say it, but isn't this amazing? People all over the world just connecting via the alumni. Like I love it. I love it.
Shall we keep it open for 5 more minutes for any last questions then before we close the meeting? I saw there were a few things about resources. So I know, Jelmer, you just mentioned the Toastmaster for public speaking. Maybe any book recommendations? I see Vishal is asked on the chats.
Oof, plenty of book recommendations. For public speaking specifically, Vishal?
For online meetings.
For online meetings, I'm gonna send you a message about that.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna dive into that. I've read a few books about. There's not that many. I'm gonna write one at one point, I think, because this is a neglected piece of public speaking, to be honest.
I used to go to Toastmasters in the past, and
Uh-huh.
from my experience, I can say that what you learn there is useful, but it is not completely relevant in the online world.
Yeah.
The online world is completely different, where you have some props and you have some hookup sentences, and it works very different, and then you become very popular online. So the online
Exactly.
world is quite different. I have seen people go really viral. I have some friends who have 50,000 followers, and then I'm always discussing with them, how they achieve it. And it is quite fantastic because it dwells into human psychology. But any more experience you can say, for example, how to get more followers online? Or
Let's talk about that in a second, okay? Let's keep it close to this. I will
Right.
stick around longer anyway.
Right.
What are some other questions that were thrown in the chat? Or that people have? Alejandra?
Yes. I've had in the past problem, especially at the beginning of COVID, when we started to do this at home office. People didn't want to put on their cameras and to convince them to, hey, this is the only way we're going to connect and be able to work probably better together. It was very difficult for me to do that. I'm an engineer, worked with several engineers always. Usually, to be frank, I was the only woman in a team of 20. So in over the months, I ended up also closing my webcam because I didn't got through, and I was the only one showing my face. What do you recommend? How can I, even if you're the leader tried and couldn't change anybody's style.
Yeah. So I was in a meeting last week, or an online course, and to be honest, it was so boring. And I even felt like turning off my camera. And that was such a signal to me, like, ooh, okay, yeah. Here's the thing, most people are at home where we do online meetings or in the office. It just feels uncomfortable for people to be looked at all the time without being in connection. So you will find some of you have had your camera on this whole entire meeting, this whole entire webinar, and it wasn't difficult for you because we were constantly like in connection, right? Doing things, you were part of it. if you are not part of the discussion or it's not necessary, I always tell people you can turn off your camera now if you want to. Turn it on later. Okay, so people get a little break from being constantly watched in their own home. That is what I would advise you. That's what we do with our company, our team, internal. Like you don't always have to have it on. Another thing that makes a big difference is from the start, ask people to turn it on. Like new group, new training, like we did here today, right? And then you get a chain effect, because if people join a meeting and most cameras are off, they also don't turn it on. If all of them are on, they go on. So try to set that, like that baseline from the start. Another thing, Alejandra, which is something we didn't really do today, but it's very necessary. Martijn has joined one of my courses in the past, and you will remember the micro breaks, right, Martijn? Micro breaks are incredibly important online, especially if you go over meetings of an hour. You need to give people micro breaks. And I'm not talking the regular breaks. What are micro breaks? You just give people 1, 2, 3 minutes where you tell them, turn off your camera, take a few deep breaths, look at your phone, look outside, whatever you want to do, stay where you are. Just zoom out for a second. And I will tell people, okay, it's 35 minutes past the hour where you are, right, Alejandra? We'll start again at 37. This is your time. You can leave your camera on, but you can turn it off. This is your time. Take a few deep breaths. And I do this every 20, 30 minutes. And you will find, like recently I gave a training at Adidas for their team in India. It was an 8-hour training, 8 hours online. And all the people said, I never expected to leave this session with more energy than I came. Because if you do those micro breaks, if you make it engaging, if you get a flow in there, you can do 8 hours online and feel very connected. It's just that most people don't know how to do it. And if you don't know how to do it, 8 minutes feels like death to me. The course I was in last week, I was like, oh my God, I want to leave after 8 minutes. I don't want this. Why? So long answer to your question.
No, great. All 3 tips. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Is there still time to ask another question?
Bruno,
Yes.
do you have
So
to
when
go,
we do
Bruno?
the last one though, is that okay? Because we also have to prepare for our next meeting. So
Here's what I'm gonna do. I just love doing this. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm
Yeah.
gonna open up my own
Sure.
meeting. I'll just send you guys the link and we can continue there, okay? Because Bruno and they have another thing to prepare. And I don't wanna.
Yeah, that's also fine with us. But thanks again then everyone for joining. Yeah, I'm not gonna repeat Alice with everything she said, but thanks Jelmer. And yeah, hope to see you again in one of our upcoming sessions for Alumni Career Days.
Thank you for organizing.
Yes, I'll let you put in then the link before we close it.
Yeah. I hope it works.
Perfect. Then I'll leave a couple of seconds. I hope everyone has a chance then to click on the next link if they want to join. And otherwise, yeah, see you soon. Thanks, Jelmer. See you, everyone.
Bye.